What was that? I'm gonna need y'all to stop. I'm gonna need y'all to stop. Hey guys, welcome back to Arcanum, and we're playing episode 3 at least. We'll see. Selena is about to face another ghost from her past. Alright, let's do this. Okay, got some gems, got some teacups. Let's get this going. I've been sleepy all day today. I'm feeling okay right now, I think. So, let's get this in. Let's get this in. Oh, do I have it? I think I have it muted. So it's playing something else. Okay. But it's taking forever to load. What happened last time? It was like a creepy hallway scene. That was really creepy. I can't remember. Oh, Rob just got introduced to the place. I think Selena might be coming to terms with the fact that she's not anywhere that she can just easily escape from. We're gonna have to actually do some work. It seems like the person in this cloak here is following us, and that's creepy scary. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm still not sure exactly how the story is gonna go, but I mean, I'm just kind of going with it for now. So, yeah, I don't have anything against it. Oh, okay, here we go. Chapter 3, Ghosts of the Past and the Present. Ooh. It's because she's like Ebony Scrooge. Well, Ebenezer Scrooge. There was the one version with what's her name? Vanessa Williams, I think, where she was Ebony Scrooge. And I felt assaulted, but it's okay. Oh, my name is Ebony, in case you didn't know. I know I name myself Melody in the game, but that's because of my middle names. Anyway, long story. Beware, this chapter contains scenes related to death. Proceed with caution. Ooh. Selena woke up and her eyes suddenly widened. She rushed to the phone to see what time it was. Why didn't the alarm go off? Did I oversleep? She reached for the nightstand, but her hand froze in midair as she started to remember everything. What year is it? It's 1838. Surprised, Selena started to cough but kept asking questions. What's the name of the city? Totspell, that's right. Oh, yeah. I'll come for you. Yikes. She closed her eyes and sighed. Damn. She got out of bed and looked at the morning sun. It was early. Selena didn't need an alarm clock to wake up. She'd been getting up before the dawn for so many years that she forgot that it was light to get enough sleep. She walked around the room, touching everything. Everything is arranged just the way I like it. It's funny, but I think I actually lived here. She opened the dresser door. Ribbons, cheap jewelry, a little hat. What's this? Selena found a notebook and a notebook. She sat down in the bed, opened the book, and froze for a moment. It contained drawings of plants that she had never seen before and recipes for medicines, but there was something else there. In addition to plants, there were pictures of disfigured people covered with ulcers or with additional limbs. According to the book, all that could be achieved by using the right ingredients. What kind of BS is this? Selena put aside the book and took the notebook. She saw sketches drawn by her hand. There was something profoundly intimate and emotional about it, as if Selena were getting to know herself, rediscovering her own soul. As if she was an outside observer. There were drawings of flowers and animals in the first pages, but then the notebook was filled with the same kind of drawings. Him again. The last page read, He's not here anymore. What does this mean? Not in the city? Or not in this world? Selena looked out of the window again at the gray sky. Where is he then? She needed to find him to ask him, no, not ask, but demand to be released from that place. Someone knocked on the door. Selena shuddered. She opened the door and looked sullenly at Josephine. I'm listening. Her face. She looks so angry. The volume's a little loud. Josephine was a little confused by the commanding tone of her servant. She raised her head proudly and said primly, "You should be in the kitchen already." Just Path of Atonement. Okay. Josephine held a tray in her hands and she handed it to Selena. "Take it to Mr. Stelz." She looked at Selena from head to toe. "Just get dressed first." "Okay. I'll be waiting for you downstairs." "As you say." "Oh, yeah, wait. What is this book? It's pretty." Before Selena had time to finish, Josephine snatched the find from her hands. "Here you go again." "What are you talking about?" Josephine waved the book in front of Selena's face. "You got it from my library. I forbid you to go in there. Is that clear?" Why can't I go in the library? She probably won't get mad and say she already told me. Maybe I should just ask about the book. Or the plans. I think the most likely thing that she would answer, though, is about the book. And this is on the Path of Atonement. I wonder what she says if you're not on the Path of Atonement. Josephine looked embarrassed and replied briefly, "I did." "Why?" "So many questions. Why do you care? While you're relaxing and reading books, I've already managed to heat the water and draw a bath for our guest. At least try to do your job." Josephine slammed the door. She got so angry about the book. What is she up to? Selena put on a dress and went out into the hallway. That's sus. She could see dust particles floating in the air, illuminated by the sun's rays. They swirled for a while, then settled on the old carpet and the statues. Although Selena had only arrived here quite recently, her past life seemed like a distant dream. Or maybe it was just the fruit of her imagination. Maybe the maid wanted a better life for herself and came up with a world where she was a well-established lady and others served her. Whoa, she's already doubting her own reality. Selena grinned. That world was too tough on her to be world of her dreams. His room must be somewhere. Here? Selena stretched out her hand to knock. Huh? She heard a woman's cry and turned around. What was that? Selena managed to notice only the silhouette of a sobbing girl rushing along the hallway. She ran past Selena and disappeared into her room. Who was that? Hey, wait a minute. She left the tray outside Rob's room and ran after the woman. Are you there? Selena carefully opened the door and went inside. She brave. There was no one in the room. I could swear she came in here. Selena looked under the bed, in the closet. She searched the entire room. She was about to leave the room but turned around at the doorstep to make sure there was no one there. Maybe I'm imagining things. The tray was waiting for her where she left it. Selena looked up to the end of the hallway again as if she were waiting for the girl to leave the room, but the hallway was empty. Goosebumps covered Selena's body. She tried to shake off that weird feeling. I imagined it. Selena knocked on Rob's door. There was no answer. She knocked again. Mr. Stelz? Sir? Sir. She touched the handle and the door immediately opened. Selena looked inside, then went in and quietly closed the door behind her. Rob was in the bathroom. She could hear the water splashing. Mr. Stelz? I brought you breakfast. Selena put the tray on the nightstand next to the bed. The curtains were drawn tightly as if the guests couldn't stand the light. The candle on the nightstand was almost burnt out. Looks like you had a late night. What were you doing, Rob? On the bedside table, she saw papers covered in writing. Selena noticed the name, Lilith. She looked over her shoulder to make sure Rob was still in the bathroom and examined the paper again. She managed to find her name in red. Is Lilith related to this? Oh. He came here for a reason. He's trying to do some research. And he probably already knows about the other two's involvement, potentially. But doesn't know how I got involved, because I just got here. Or he knows something sus about my aura. Maybe. I don't know. Busted! What are you doing here? Selena turned to him. Rob was drying his hair with a towel. Water droplets dripped down his naked torso. Selena followed one of them as it made its way down his abdomen. Focus! Selena hastily looked away. I brought you breakfast. Rob walked up to her, pushed her roughly aside, folded the papers, and hid them in the drawer. I don't want anyone to come into my chambers. The fresh masculine scent of his body pervaded the entire room. For a few seconds, Rob and Selena stared at each other. At some point, the silence became unreasonably long. Ask him why your name was on those pages, or offer your help. Offer my help with what? Like, just like normal duties? I don't know, because I don't know if we can trust him. We could trust him back then, but I don't know about right now. He could be sus. We don't know who to trust right now. You are a guest in our city. Let me help you. Help me how? High Priestess. Okay. I believe your visit to the hospital isn't random. Let me help you find whatever you're looking for. Were you going through my things? Selena calmly looked at him. You're a bloodhound by nature. What are you trying to find out, Rob? No, but I could tell that something is bothering you. Rob looked puzzled. He ran his hand through his wet hair. You shouldn't come into my room anymore. You don't have to worry about cleaning it. He took out a couple of coins from the nightstand and put them in Selena's palm. She looked at them and clenched them into her fist. Whatever you say, sir. What a stubborn moron. Selena wanted to leave, but Rob stopped her by holding her elbow gently. How long have you been working here? Now you want to chat? Like, I'll take my leave now. I'm not answering your questions. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, my name in that book. You know what? I should ask them why my name was in the book. Fuck you. Selena sighed. It looks like it's been a while. What connects you with the owners of this hotel? It's an interrogation. The look on Rob's face made it clear that he didn't understand what Selena meant. Okay, you can go. Selena curtsied while looking straight into his eyes with a mocking grin on her face. Sir. Selena left. Rob stared at the closed door, taken aback by her behavior. What kind of games is she playing? I asked the same of you, sir. He took out the papers and laid down on the bed, but immediately put them aside. The image of Selena's face was haunting him. Sir. Rob laughed. Who is she? As soon as Selena had gone down to the hall, Josephine handed her a rag. Clean the bench in the garden so that Mr. Stutz can have his coffee while admiring our flowers. How do you even know you want to go out there? Whatever. I haven't had breakfast yet. Have breakfast and get to work. This has to stop. I can't run errands for them. Selena had a bite to eat and headed to the garden. The bench was covered in leaves and dirt and had sticky spots here and there. Selena kneeled in front of it. We'll go with knelt. She knelt in front of it and began to scrub it. She decisively wiped the back and armrests of the bench. This noble obedience reminded her of the past. Selena leaned on her broomstick, watching the rest of the children sweeping the path leading to the orphanage. She hated being forced to clean up and being watched as if they were prisoners during correctional labor. The headmistress came out into the courtyard and approached Selena, noticing that she wasn't doing anything again. Selena, why aren't you cleaning? Because you're forcing us. Well, here's the thing about that though. Like, orphanage or not, you gonna be cleaning as a kid. Unless you're like, your parents didn't make you do anything. It's neither here nor there, but I'm just saying. Even if you had a family, it's not like you can just escape. Did you help your mom clean the house? Because this is my home. I got some things to say about that, but I get it. She's a child and she's upset about things. That's fine. The headmistress grabbed Selena's hand, pulling her towards her and hissed, "Forget your pride, girl. Do you think you're too good for this kind of work? You have to look after us. You get paid for it." Also true. I thought, let's see. Nobody owes you anything. You have to pay for everything with your time and efforts. If you want to get something, give something in return. We teach you how to work. Work makes a person noble. Noble. The headmistress calmed down, let go of Selena's hand, and straightened her suit. No job is unworthy, remember, and be proud that you're able to work. She took a step back and motioned to Selena to start sweeping. The broom in the girl's hand started to move. The headmistress nodded approvingly and walked away. Oh, some facts. Selena rubbed the bench so hard that she could no longer feel her hand. No job is unworthy. Who are you talking to? What? Oh, it's you. No one. So you've already been tamed. Having said that, Prima plopped onto the bench. Hey, I'm cleaning that. It's already shining, can't you see? Selena sat down exhaustedly next to Prima. It looked like she overdid it. It was just a bench, after all. Selena got involved head over heels with all her projects. The difficult part was to take the first step. I'll never be tamed. Selena stared at the flowers cascading across the garden. She watched the falling petals floating in the air and then landing on the grass. No, you've already been tamed. All you do is serve Josephine. Selena glanced at Prima. Are you trying to provoke me? No, just thought it might be fun, but you're already on your knees. If a lion lies down on the ground, it doesn't mean that it's tamed. Maybe it's just waiting for the right moment to attack. The conqueror doesn't know that he can do that. So you're biding your time? Exactly. I'll get out of here. You have my word. Sorry, but she is a child. It does not matter what she thinks, okay? How about you grow up first and learn a little bit more about the world? This is not a fucking game. This is life. Why are you in a hurry to leave? Isn't this your home? What's that? What was it? What are you talking about? Selena moved closer to Prima and took a few breaths. What's that smells? Is that gum? Prima blew a bubble and it burst right in front of Selena's face. Uh-huh. Where'd you get chewing gum in the 19th century? Prima shrugged. I bought it at the store. It's in the center of the city. Do you want me to show you? Selena shook her head. Inconsistencies. This seems to be some kind of fictional world. I can't even tell if it's good or bad. Prima was chewing gum loudly and kept looking around. Ugh. I hate when people chew gum like freaking cows. I should not be hearing you chew your gum. She looked so serene, even though she seemed weird to the others. Selena said to the girl, why did you leave your home? Why did you choose this hotel? Do you know the tarot reader? You're strange. Still a child. Maybe let's not do that. Success. Because nothing kept me there anymore. It seemed to Selena that there was more to the story. Prima's gaze became serious beyond her years. My parents died in an accident. I was left alone and decided to find a new home. She shrugged indifferently. It's that simple. Prima rolled her eyes in annoyance. Obviously there's a reason. There's always reasons. So what is it? Prima stretched out her hands like a bird, or rather an airplane, jumped up and began to circle slowly. So many questions, so few answers. She's mocking me. Who doesn't? Selena straightened and stared at Prima, ready to get some new information. Who is he? Nobody knows that. It's impossible to talk to you. I didn't ask you to. After a while, you see that everyone here is strange, and so are you. Behind this ostentatious eccentricity lurks a cunning and intelligent mind. I shouldn't underestimate you, Prima. Prima glanced at her briefly as if she read Selena's mind. Josephine called Selena. Prima scowled, parrying the angry expression on the hostess' face, and slapped herself on the thigh. Good girl. Come here, girl. Selena gently slapped her on top of the head, and Prima burst into a childless laughter. Selena headed towards the house but stopped. Rob was standing outside the window. He was watching them from the second floor. For a while, he stared at Selena. His face was emotionless, and it made him look cruel. Then Rob disappeared into the dark hallway, slowly, even lazily, as if he didn't care that he was spotted. Josephine jumped out into the garden. Are you deaf? How many times do I have to call you, Lilith? What's the matter? Pick some flowers in the garden. A neighbor's husband died. We're going to pay her respect today. I want to support her. Okay. You're coming with me, so make yourself presentable. Josephine touched Selena's hair and squeezed a few strands. Do something about that hair, too. Selena went to Prima. Can you help me? You know the garden better than me. Take what you want. You can't go wrong. Prima jumped off the bench and disappeared behind the bushes. You're useless. But Prima vanished as if she never existed. She might not. Well, to be fair, what's his face? Liam? He saw her. Okay. I can handle it myself. Has Josephine acknowledged Prima? I can't remember. Remind me if she has. It's pretty. Selena walked around the garden, stopping in front of the flowers she liked. She was in no hurry. There was something soothing about the process. She enjoyed the rustle of the leaves and the singing of the birds. When I get back, I'll start my own garden. See how nice you look when you smile. Smile, child. While trying to select flowers, Selena came across strange plants, somewhat reminiscent of those drawings she saw in Josephine's book. Some had purple thorns as a warning sign that they shouldn't be touched. Some had long petals covered with villi. They looked repulsive and clearly didn't grow there to decorate the garden. Josephine turns out to be a witch making love potions out of a nervous fit. Selena touched one of the flowers with the tip of her toe and kicked it lightly. And yet it all seemed so weird. Having finished picking flowers, Selena looked at the bouquet in her hand. Ooh, a cute bouquet? A gorgeous bouquet. Or a modest bouquet. Let's go ahead and rock gorgeous. I'll make a good impression. I need to make myself presentable now. So neatly laid the flowers on the bed, took off her dress, and began to choose what to wear. Ooh, I like the choker. Very nice. Oh. Is it weird that I like this get up more than I like this get up? I don't know. I don't like this skirt situation going on down there. I think if that looked different, I probably would prefer that one. But as it stands, I think I prefer this one. I think I'm gonna buy this one. If it doesn't get me into trouble. So I really like that choker. It's really nice. Also interesting that the accessories are tied to The outfit. Now the hair. It was difficult for Selena to manage her hair without her expensive shampoo and conditioner. It took her a while and a lot of nerves before she was kind of satisfied with the result. Okay. So we're already starting with these colors. Okay. We're already starting. Although, I think I'm gonna rock this. It doesn't look bad. It's actually quite pretty. That's better. Selena took the flowers and went downstairs. Josephine was waiting at the exit. She was nervous and constantly straightening her dress and her hair. Let's go already. It's disrespectful to be late. Her normal attire already fit in. She opened the door and waved her hand, hurrying Selena along. The city was noisy, but that noise was barely comparable to what Selena was used to back home. Some residents looked fancy and well-groomed, but the rest looked like ragamuffins. Patched clothes that looked more like a sack for potatoes, faces covered with a layer of dust and soot, eyes stupefied and always surprised. Selena felt disgust as she looked at those people. Why? The city was buzzing with the working spirit, but everything looked so random and disorganized. Someone rolled barrels, someone washed the windows, which were immediately again covered with dirt and dust from carriages with horses passing by. 2 words formed in Selena's head describing what she saw. Rural chaos. A stink face. Almost every passerby greeted Josephine, bowing their heads respectfully. She nodded in response without slowing down. One old man shook her hand and thanked her for her help, but Josephine cut the conversation short by saying that she was always happy to help. The closer they got to the house, the less Selena wanted to go there. She was disgusted with everything that surrounded her. She was impatient to take a bath and wash away the dirt of the city. I don't need you to calm down. But they had already approached the house. There was no going back. A servant opened the door, but noticing Josephine, she turned sideways, bowed her head, trying not to look her in the eye, and waved her hand. Please come in. Interessant. Thank you. Interesting. A lot of people gathered in the hall, and Josephine quickly started to mingle. They made their rounds, chit-chatting with different people without lingering for too long in one place. There were voices coming from everywhere. They were talking animatedly as if there was no deceased person in the open coffin behind their backs. An old pain echoed in Selena's chest, like a scar aching during bad weather. Someone accidentally pushed Selena, but she didn't move an inch. All she could hear was, say goodbye to them. They're here. Selena shuddered and closed her eyes. Several meager but painful tears rolled down her cheeks. Forgive me. She pushed the people behind her and ran out of the room. Selena swallowed painfully. She looked around and noticing a servant carrying a tray of drinks, beckoned to her. It was that girl again. Yes? Selena took the glass and drank it with a gulp. I don't think your mistress would approve of that. Who cares what she thinks? Was he a good person? Who? Selena nodded towards the coffin. Oh, Mr. Brown was exceedingly kind, if it weren't for his sick heart. Tell me about Mr. Brown. What happened between you and Josephine? Do you and I know each other well? Ooh. It's kind of a public place. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get information about her and Josephine right about now. Something that would happen there, though, for sure. Tell me about Mr. Brown. Do we care? Look, we might. Did you and I know each other, though? But see, yeah, I kind of want to figure out what my connections are around here. Like, should I know this girl? Let's work with that. Sarah nodded sympathetically as if to say that she knew that Selena had forgotten everything. Yes, but we rarely spoke. Why? I'm in the same position as you. Selena's words amused her. Oh, definitely not. What's that supposed to mean? In response, the servant just laughed, covering her mouth with her hand. Someone looked again at the coffin that no one cared about. Would you like one more? What? No, I don't drink, and I don't advise you to drink either unless you want to piss away your brain. But didn't you just gulp the drink down? Someone left the servant and moved towards the deceased. What? The way there seemed infinitely long. She stopped near the coffin. Holding to the sides of the coffin, she forced herself to look directly at his face. He's dead. And they were dead. They weren't there anymore. Selena expected to feel a surge of emotions, but the deceased didn't make her feel anything. She regretted that she didn't say goodbye to her parents and understood nothing would change that. Selena looked at his blue eyelids. Fight! He grabbed Selena's hand and squeezed her fingers around her wrist. Selena freed herself from the death grip and bounced back. She ran to the maid and made her drop the tray. Glasses shattered with a loud clink. Alcohol spilled all over the floor. Everyone fell silent. Then they began to whisper and comment on what had happened with renewed vigor. Great. What in the hell? One of the nobles looked at Selena sympathetically. She decided something was going on between Selena and the deceased, and that was why she couldn't contain her feelings. The servant fell to her knees and began hastily to pick up the shards. I couldn't bear to look at him either. So sorry for Mr. Brown. Josephine went to Selena and stroked her back. If you're afraid of death, you shouldn't get so close to it. Stop drawing attention. She patted Selena on the shoulders and returned to the others. Selena quietly looked back at the deceased, but he was motionless. It wasn't a figment of my imagination. There's clearly something wrong with this world. I'm glad she got catching on. Because, you might be in danger, sweetie. Fight? Fight who? I'm glad the maid didn't get in trouble for that. The hostess entered the hall. It was obvious from the way the conversations dialed down. They began to part, sharing their condolences. Someone even started to cry. Fake ass tears. Selena freshened up the bouquet and rearranged some flowers. When she saw the widow, her fingers involuntarily clenched on the stems. A short exhale, more like a wheezing sound, escaped from her dried up throat. I think I know who it is. Mary? No idea. No idea. She's gorgeous, though. Thank you all for coming here. She stared at the girl's face. She looked upset, as in their last meeting. But this time, there was something noble and calm about her sadness. Mary stood in front of Selena's table and wrung her hands, trembling with overwhelming emotions. For several minutes, she tried to say something, but couldn't stop the sobbing. Please, I don't... Was this her previous assistant and she fired her? Selena didn't even bother to look at her and continued to examine the plan of the bridge. The indifference of the boss suddenly gave Mary strength, and she rushed to her table and finally said, Please don't fire me. You can't do this to me. Selena looked up at her, set the plan aside, and said coldly, I can, and I will. The chief engineer entrusted you with overseeing the work on the bridge to double-check the materials. This is one of our smallest projects, and you failed. One of the beams was deformed from the beginning. How could you overlook that? But nobody got hurt. We solved the problem during construction. I'm kind of with Selena on that one. What you mean nobody got hurt? But somebody could have gotten hurt. That's dangerous. Okay. What was her reasoning for not noticing this? Was she overworked? Did Selena put too much on her? Let's see. Selena jumped up and thumped the table with her fist. And if the beam didn't bend right away? What if it happened afterward? Can you imagine what could have happened? But, no buts. No one has the right to make mistakes when it comes to human lives and the reputation of the company. No one. That's facts, though. Tears fell down Mary's cheeks. Forgive me, my mom is sick, I hardly sleep. We're drowning in debt, I can't afford to be unemployed now. Ah, there it is. But why didn't you mention this before, though? It's only this your first time kind of bringing it up. How do I know it's not an excuse at this point? But knowing who Selena is, I kind of believe this girl. I dreamed of becoming a civil engineer. This job means a lot to me. I promise I'll do my best. I don't care about your dreams nor your debts. I don't care what made you screw up. Human lives are at stake. But my life and my mother's life are at stake too. It's your job and you didn't do it. Get out. Mary could hardly stand. She was about to faint. She grabbed the edge of the table and begged. Ooh. Okay, I believe her. Please, if you fire me, my life will be destroyed. You ruined everything with your own hands, and you rebuilt it yourself. You're a civil engineer, after all. Mary could no longer restrain herself. All her dreams were trampled and torn into small pieces. She burst into tears. Suddenly, Selena's face became cruel. Don't you dare humiliate yourself like this. I'm sick of your tears and your weakness. She stared down at the table and sat down at the table and stared again at the plane on the bridge. Go away. Wow. Mary fell silent, her tears dried up, and her body went limp like a rag doll. Turned around and slowly trudged towards the door. Everything lost its meaning at once. There was no way back. Her life collapsed overnight. Mary approached Josephine, holding out her hands to her. Oh, my darling. I'm so glad you came. Mary noticed the bouquet in Selena's hands. Is that for me? Yes. Mary took it and helped to sink deeply. Ah, they're wonderful. Did you collect them yourself, Lilith? Yes. Selena once again looked at the open coffin. I'm really sorry for your loss. Just keep in mind that time heals all wounds. And when the pain is gone, there'll be nothing but memories that will always warm your soul. Except if she remembers that you fired her like that. Mary's eyes sparkled, but not from tears. She looked at Selena without blinking, then answered heartily. Thank you. Oh, we're gonna improve our relationship with Mary. Yeah, we need to do that. Because Mary made a pretty huge mistake there. That was really dangerous. But Selena is cold-hearted. And Mary went to the coffin and looked into it. She looked at her husband for a while and then suddenly smiled. And there was something malicious about that smile. No, that's not sorrow. Mary walked away from the coffin and returned to Selena with a smile. She took her by the arm and led her into the backyard. I want to talk to you if you don't mind. Selena didn't answer. It was difficult for her to separate the Mary she remembered from the Mary standing in front of her. As soon as they stepped outside, Mary took out a cigarette holder and lit a cigarette. Just ask. I can see from your face that you want to say something. Can I ask them all? How long have you been here? Oh, I can give me some groundwork for how long everybody thinks things are going on. What happened to your husband? Something weird happened in your house. That's a little personal. Well, how about we start with this? If you can ask them all. Mary raised her eyebrows in surprise. From the day I was born, just like you. Oh, okay. So she doesn't know. Okay. We can't get engaged from that. Sounds about right. Looks like I'm really the only one who remembers everything. Okay, here we go. What? Yeah, what happened to your husband? Mary exhaled smoke, looking into the distance, immersed in memories. He smoked a lot, moved too little, and ate poorly. I'll take the blame for the last one. I'm a terrible cook, and yet I never let the servants cook for me. Weird how? For example, a dead man grabs your hand. Toss spell has an effect on people. Don't bother about it. You make it sound so simple. Please call me Mary. We don't need all this formality. And yes, you're right. She looked thoughtful and sad, but not because of the deceased. Selena couldn't take her eyes off of her. Running into her turned out to be more exciting than she could have ever imagined. If Selena saw her in her former world, she would barely pay attention to her. I was told that you forgot everything. Is that true? Mary appropriately looked at Selena. Yes. She nodded, staring into the distance again, and shaking off the ash from the cigarette, said, I never loved him. He was so wonderful that I felt like I was taking advantage of him. It's good that he died, and now my conscience won't torment me. She was silent for a little, then spoke again. Now I don't have to pretend that I enjoy his hugs and kisses on the forehead. There'll be no need to smile in response to his smile, to pretend that I'm worried about his heart. Tears suddenly welled up in her eyes. She threw the cigarette holder in rage. I wish I had died, not him. Mary was shaking all over with contempt for herself, but immediately reined herself in. She wiped her eyes and turned to Selena with a smile. Well, what am I doing? You can't show your feelings in public, right? No one likes it. Same way I didn't like it the last time. Selena grabbed her shoulder and looked demandingly into her eyes. You really don't remember anything. Mary laughed in confusion, gently removing Selena's hand. What do you mean? You're the one who forgot everything, right? Or am I missing something? Selena sighed in disappointment. It's time I give up trying and accept that I'm the only one who remembers the past. Never mind. Mary looked at Selena with interest. She came close to Selena, ran her hand through her hair, then across her face, barely touching her cheeks and lips. Oh, that's why she wasn't into her husband. Gotcha. What happened? You've changed. Selena pulled back. You too. I remember you differently. Hope I'm better than I was? I haven't decided yet. Mary laughed without worrying that her carefree laugh might be heard. Well, you have the chance to get to know me. We shouldn't make them wait any longer. Let's go. When they returned, the guests got quiet again. Everyone present understood that no one grieved with the old man, but everyone had to pretend. The sense of social duty and decency forced everyone to play along. I thought he was a nice man. I guess, I don't know. Mary led Selena by the arm, stopped to listen to condolences, then moved on, leading her away. Emily came up to them. The man looked out from behind her, glanced fearfully at Selena, and hid again. Mary, I've told you everything already, but I just wanted to say again that you can always count on me. I'm at your service. Dude, she be looking boss these days. Dude. She's put together. Oh, goodness. Thank you. Mary pulled away from Selena, touched her forehead, and sighed. I'm exhausted. I need some peace. Of course. Get some rest. Emily, Lilith, please excuse me. Emily watched Mary go upstairs and then turned to Selena. Her face went from sad to arrogant. She handed Selena an empty glass. Bring me a drink. Excuse me? Josephine's servant, aren't you? Well, let's say I am. She took her glass in front of Selena's face. Bring me a drink, servant. Selena gnashed her teeth in anger. You have your own servants. She looks sad as can be. I told you. Oh, right, because she was treating her the same way this show. Oh, I used to treat her. Oh, my God. You must obey. Fat chance. There was a time Selena was treated like that, but she promised herself that she would no longer bow before anyone. And yet, when she was in a position of power, Selena didn't notice how she turned into those whom she despised. Facts. It was the first time that thought had crossed her mind, and her pride got hurt. Selena never saw herself that way. But being pushed around by her former secretary like that made Selena see herself in a different light. I'm not that joker on the cards. What were they trying to tell me? What should I do? Bring her the freaking drink. Stop. It's a lesson in humility. You are an asshole. This is your comeuppance, lady. Sorry, but it is. Yeah, she being a bitch right now. But you were a bitch first. She don't remember that, of course. Still, Selena took the glass, handed it to her, albeit a little rougher than she should have. He was at the table with the drinks and filled the glass. Damn bitch. Selena returned to Emily and handed her a glass. Here you are. Emily nodded contentedly. She said nothing in response, and after taking a sip, just turned away from her. And yet Selena felt like a winner. She kept her pride in check, and there was more dignity in that than in an altercation. Selena no longer felt the need to prove anything to anyone. She'd done that a long time ago. Josephine went up to Celine and whispered in her ear. We've done our duty. I think it's time for us to go. Whatever you say. At the exit, they ran to Mary's servant. Josephine's face instantly changed. She blushed and began to straighten her clothes and her hair nervously. The servant was also embarrassed. She was desperately trying to avoid Josephine's eyes. Are you leaving already? Yes, unfortunately, but maybe you want to, I'll take a picture for a reason. Maybe you could join us for dinner sometime? The servant's pupils widened. Sorry, I don't think so. She looks like her daughter. They have the same face shape. Either she's her daughter or, they had a time together. But I think it's her daughter. They have a similar face shape. I could see her being her daughter. What scared her so much? Oh, I have to go. Without raising her head, she rushed inside and began to compulsively offer help to the guests, just to avoid a conversation with Josephine. Selena looked inquiringly at her mistress, but she only said sullenly, Let's go. I think that's her daughter. When they returned to the mansion, it was already dark outside. Liam? No one answered, but there were voices coming from the living room. When they entered, Liam got up from his chair, spreading his arms cheerfully. Here are the lovely ladies. I hope you don't mind. I invited Bird over to introduce him to Mr. Stout, since he is about to paint his portrait. Josephine rushed to Liam, touched his face. You're so pale. Are you sick? Liam pulled away with a smile. Sister, I thought we agreed that you wouldn't worry that much about me. Rob stood by the fireplace with his back to the others, but turned around and looked at Selena. He seemed suspicious and vigilant. Bert got up from the chair and went to Josephine. Sorry I haven't dropped by for so long. Who are you? That's okay, Bert. It's good to see you. Josephine looked at her brother with concern again, but Liam was no longer paying attention to his sister's anxiety. He went up to the artist, hugged him, and said, addressing Selena, Lilith has lost her memory, so I'll introduce you again. Bert and I went to the art school together. He was the most talented there. Liam squeezed Bert's shoulder tighter, smiling with concealed resentment. Liam has these moments of, darkness inside. He looks like an angel. But he has these moments of darkness, like when I think Selena was talking to Rob for a little bit or something like that, or they were kind of looking at each other, and Liam was just kind of had this moment of jealousy, and then Selena was like, well, are you jealous? And he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And here, smiling with concealed resentment, squeezed his shoulder. Interesting. Hello, Lilith. Bert took Selena by the hand, bent over to kiss it, but hesitated, looking at the girl from under his brows. Thank you. I appreciate the hesitation. He's looking for at least, consent on that. Not just people going around grabbing you and kissing on your hand. Sure. I'll give him a smile. Selena lowered her head a little and smiled. Bert's eyes sparkled. Okay. Finally, Bert kissed the back of her hand and straightened up. Selena immediately hid her hands behind her back. Bert raised his eyebrows in surprise, as if he just took note of Liam's words. Don't you remember me? I don't remember anything. Looked at her excitedly. Maybe you hit your head? Need to see a doctor. I'm fine, thanks. Josephine took Bert's hand, led him to the table. Have you already discussed the future portrait? Mr. Stelz, have a seat. I'll stand. Thank you. Rob didn't look enthusiastic, but somehow he didn't resist the host's idea. Liam sat down in a chair, turned to the window, crossing his legs. Bert smiled kindly and charmingly and addressed Lena. Lilith, join us. When she sat down, Bert rolled up his sleeves, moved the chair so that he could see everyone, and spoke. Nothing complicated about a portrait. The only thing I need from you, Mr. Stelz, is patience. I'll paint the portrait at my place, a house near the mansion. Bert exuded confidence, strength, and love, but it wasn't clear whether he felt that way towards his job or towards everything that surrounded him. He took the spotlight whenever he talked, and he was well aware of the effect he had on people. Rob looked sullen with his hands folded in front of him. He took everywhere with hostility and a slight mockery. Bert was vivacious and full of life, while Rob was somber. Slim looked at Liam. He was sitting still, staring thoughtfully out the window. He was frowning as if there was an intense struggle going deep inside him, causing him pain and sadness. There's another hint at that darkness inside. What's going on there? Is it because of his sickness? Josephine clapped her hands. Oh, that would be wonderful. What do you say, Liam? He replied without turning around. I hope Bert won't take too long with the painting. I assure you, I'll finish it on time. Bert, when did your passion for painting start? Bert smiled happy as Lena spoke to him. His smile is weird and ambiguous. Oh, I was born with it, same as Liam. How long have you been painting for the hotel? It's been a while. This is a special thing. Who wouldn't want his face immortalized on a painting exhibited in the best hotel in Totspell? Are there more hotels in the city? Josephine, offended by Rob's remark, proudly replied, Of course not. They'd go out of business in no time. Rob chuckled with further infuriated Josephine. Well, I don't think Mrs. Stelz has any more questions. Everything's clear. That's the first time we've seen him smile in this time period. Or place. Then I'll see you tomorrow. This dude look kind of evil. And they kind of give you the hint that he might be. It's that cut on the eyebrow that usually signals like a bad boy. Bert got up but grabbed his head. His face was contorted in pain. He held onto the chair to avoid falling to the ground. Are your headaches back? Liam jumped up, walked over to the table. Can you paint? Bert nodded, wincing. Why would that be? Wait, why is it the next thing he asks? Can you paint? If he has a headache, he might just need to rest for a bit. That doesn't mean he can't paint. They weren't about to paint right now, I don't think. You need to see Mary. Mary? What does Mary have to do with anything? What causes your headaches? Josephine exchanged glances with Liam. Rob looked at Bert warily. Artis only laughed in response. Please don't worry. I'll go to Mary's, I promise. Get some rest. Yes, I think I'll go. Mr. Stelz, it was good to meet you. Same to you. Lilith, escort Bert. Okay. Good night, everyone. That was weird. Cinna led Bert to the gate. Several times he stopped, grabbed his head, and when the pain receded, he continued to walk. I feel you don't have any headaches, though, for real. My migraines are rough. What's with your head? Migraines, nothing serious. Migraines can be serious, bro. At the gate, he stopped again, but not because of a headache. He hesitated as if he doubted whether to speak or not, but he still asked. Will you walk with me to the estuary bank? There's an estuary here? Bert looked at her closely as if he were trying to read her thoughts. What? Nothing, it's so weird that you don't remember anything. Cinna shrugged. You're the one who doesn't remember anything. True. So, do you want to take a walk? We'll see. If it turns to be a maniac, I have a knife in my pocket just in case. Selena fumbled for the weapon, but immediately removed her hand so that Bert wouldn't notice. In case I might learn something new from him. Then please. Bert stepped aside gallantly, stretched out his hand, letting Selena pass. They went out into the city. Bert was silent. It wasn't clear whether he was waiting for Selena to start a conversation or was too busy with his thoughts. At first, the silence made Selena uncomfortable, but soon she calmed down and was grateful for the opportunity to walk in silence. They walked through the entire city and ended up on the beach. What happened to that migraine he supposedly had? Bad boy. Pretty. Bert sat right on the sand and stared at the horizon. It's nice here, isn't it? Selena sat down next to him. Yes, it's gorgeous. There was silence again for a while, then Bert suddenly spoke up. You showed me this place. I kind of felt like they might have had like a little something going on in the past, but apparently I managed to do a lot of things. Bert laughed, threw a pebble towards the estuary. Funny, maybe this is your way to push me away? What are you talking about? Bert looked at Selena and smiled slyly. Usually in novels it's the other way around. A girl is seduced by a man who then pretends not to know her. You think I went around telling everyone that I lost my whole last memory just so that I can avoid you? The fuck are you? How self-absorbed is this guy? He seemed kind of like an attention seeker. We'll call it that. But this is a bit much. That would be a lot much. You're doing too much at that point. She could have just been like, well, I don't remember up to this point. Damn. Why she have to act like she forgot her whole ass memory? He laughed. You're a very strange girl. I say you're the strange one here. Did I seduce you? I wouldn't say that. Maybe partially. My whole life has been devoted to working. Painting was the only thing on my mind. I've always liked girls, but I had no time for them. I don't know how it happened, but with you, I forgot about work and remembered that there are other pleasures in the world. Selena felt her cheeks flush. Lilith was his first? Now that's a twist. Only I have nothing to do with it. Selena moved away from him. She spoke clearly as if with a subordinate who needed to be put in place. Look, everything that happened between us in the past has nothing to do with who I am now. Selena was gesticulating nervously. Bert gently stopped her hands, moved a little closer to her, and answered. I understand that, Lilith, and I'm not going to pester you, let alone force you into anything. We can stay good friends. Without waiting for an answer, he got up, took off his shoes, and rolled up his trousers. The water should be warm. Do you want to try it? He held out his hand and helped her up. Sue was a little embarrassed about her former relationship with Bert, but tried not to dwell on that, so she took off her shoes and went into the water. She took a step, then another one. The shallow water of the estuary turned out to be warm. Small algae tickled her feet. Selena laughed. I haven't done this for a long time. I don't remember the last time I was at sea. You work hard. Yes, but I like it. You like it until you take a break and realize how much you're missing out on. Bert didn't look at Selena, as if he realized that his gaze would confuse her even more. He grabbed his head, frowning in pain. The migraine is suddenly back. Another migraine? Yes, but it's almost gone. Me another migraine. That's not how that works. If he had an actual migraine, it would have been with him this entire time. Another migraine. Get the fuck out of here. Talk about somebody who's pretending. Lying ass. So look at the moon reflecting on the water. As a child. Are there, you know what? My migraines are like that where, let me try to see if I can find something here. Here we go. My migraines are like that. But what if I just give him the benefit of the doubt? Hold up. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So, like, short bursts, short migraines, right? Oh. I think oh, there's such thing as ice pick headaches. Let's see. Stabbing headaches or ice pick headaches are short stabbing, extremely intense headaches that generally last only seconds. Stabbing headaches can be either primary, the headache is a problem, or secondary, there's an underlying cause. And typically they call it a headache, but it's under the migraine foundation. All right, fine. I'll give it to him. He's having ice pick headaches. All right, fine. Okay. That's what he's having, fine. Then I'll say he's not lying then. As a child, she loved to swim on it. Imagine that she would end up in another world. Maybe Brett is right. I need some rest. So no one to plunge under the water and swim far, far away like she did as a child and maybe escape into a different reality. She took another step, but stepped on something sharp. Ooh! Ouch! What's wrong? But I hope it wasn't a stonefish. Bert saw a trickle of blood under the water. His face became serious and focused. Come here. It's okay, Bert didn't listen. Hey, I think maybe we should both go to Mary's. He picked up Selena in his arms and carried her towards a log lying on the beach. He examined the wound, took a handkerchief out of his pocket, and tied it around her leg. The cut is small, but deep enough. Can you walk? Let me try. She stepped on her foot and winced in pain. It's unpleasant, but I can take it. I don't like this. Some scary stuff is happening in this story, and that means now we can't run. Try to stay off your leg so that the wound heals as soon as possible. Bert put Selena's hand on his shoulder to make it less painful for her to walk. That's it. Thank you. Always happy to help. They were going back into the city, but Selena turned around to take one more look at the estuary. It looked calm, motionless, like a painting. It really does. Seemingly dead, but more alive than everything else. Thanks for bringing me here. I told you the same thing once. The estuary was left behind and they returned to the city. After the gate of the mansion, Selena stopped. Thanks again. Bert nodded, smiling. He took her hand with both hands as if he wanted to warm her and said, We'll get to know each other again. Of course. Bert immediately let go of her hand as if he knew she didn't like the touch of strangers. He didn't hide his regret and chuckled at his own thoughts. Good night, Lilith. Good night, Bert. Selena stood at the gate until the artist's figure disappeared into the thick fog. Only then she went inside. Alright, so what y'all thinking about Bert? Did he make it on your list as your potential, your primary ally, or what? I wonder. The hall was dark and empty. The house got swallowed by pitch black darkness as soon as its inhabitants went to their rooms. Oh no. I don't want to go down the hallway by myself. It seemed there was a hidden silhouette in every corner and a dark shadow hiding behind every statue. The floorboards creaked, the candle flames trembled, the wind howled, and the loosely closed windows squeaked. The mansion seemed to have a life of its own, and Selena disturbed it. I'm starting to go nuts. Selena, limping, began to climb the stairs. It was dead silent. Selena felt lonely and lost as never before. What was she doing there, and how to find her way home? Selena stopped at the painting and was taking a look at the tarot reader. Why me? She peered into the void, hiding behind the hood as if the tarot reader could answer her. Some sort of rustle caught her attention. She shuddered and looked back towards the hall. Maybe it was a mouse. Selena took one of the candles off the wall and stretched out her hand to get a better look. The darkness dissipated. There was nothing there. She went to go up to the second floor, but she noticed the movement from the side. She froze in terror, clutching the candle. Hot wax dripped onto her dress, but she barely paid attention to it. She slowly looked at the paintings without making even the slightest movement. I'm gonna need y'all to stop. I'm gonna need y'all to stop. Dude, is this listed under horror? Is this a horror story? Dude, this is scarier than Shell's the Same 4. And that one was listed as horror. Oh my god. The candle fell out of her hand. Tina jumped away from the painting. She wanted to scream again, but only a faint squeak escaped her mouth. Everything plunged into darkness. The fuck? Dude, for scaring me, I will give that 5 stars. They scared me. They got me twice with that shit. You know what? Look at this shit. Of course it's a horror story. Why did I? Oh my god. Episode 4. On your day off, you gotta find a time for a date, a fight, and some trouble. Huh, okay. We're gonna be going for a date, but we're gonna get to that one next time. I've been recording for a bit. It's pretty late, but anyway, they scared the bejesus out of me. The actual bejesus out of me, dude. Okay. But let me know what you think about Bert. He's interesting. I no longer think he's lying about his headaches. I think he actually has iceberg headaches. I didn't know about those before. So it was interesting. Because they threw me off when they were like migraine. I was like, migraines usually last for like hours and hours. Like, I'll get a migraine, but like 6 hours long, dude. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. You guys are watching me Twins Vehicle, and show like button some love, subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye.